I, as a doctor, don't believe doctors should strike. I think our first responsibility is to our patients.
Paul is both a doctor.
Will we make our way in? Oh, how lovely. Hold it yet.
I'll just leave your bags here, okay?
Oh.
Yeah, so get back here, take the 3.
Prince and the King in one show. Can't believe it. Yeah. 1, 3, 23 grand. What do you say?
I think as in the first play, I am tempted by the 23.
Right.
I spoke to your acting head, and I've had you reinstated.
What?
So, Wendy, who wants music?
Do you want me to take it?
I think so.
Okay, I'll take music.
Okay, our farm administrator from Perth. You can take on.
Brilliant, Kev, Sean, YouTube to notion to the BBC Alapa, agus mar sinne híos ag CBBC Alapa.
A sinne chustú úrsús gach seach gins mar sin, cún súlamach in son.
Good jera, a détí the ferrein జీlas yeshu amach ama henoch ha character making pastel galig na chef.
Okay. Favourite pizza?
Margarita with an egg on top.
What is that?
Just cheap tomato.
Just cheese and
Yeah,
tomato.
I like to keep things simple.
To be needed at this stage. Well, it means the scores stay as they were. It's been a great contest, but with £1,850, very well played, Andrew. You are today's winner. Congratulations to you. Nathan, you battled really hard.
I mean, yes, humans say they love us, but then they turn around and throw us out like garbage. Ain't that right? See monkeys.
Hey, it's not our fault we don't look like...
The 3 of us?
It would be my pleasure. This is very kind of you.
Have you had a good evening?
Yes. Yes, very good, thank you.
Well, don't sound so hesitant, or the matron he will kill himself.
In my watch, I distinctly remember, my watch was eaten by a nosher.
Well, how did it get into a crocodile's stomach?
I wouldn't like to think, unless it ate the nosher too.
I think I'm going mad.
I'll see you at the consulate. I have to do what he said. But before you do that, sir, have Q do an analysis of this.
Door of your bake shop, you'd have to put in uncomfortable chairs because people would stay too long. So what are we looking at?
It starts with a carrot pie and caramel bonbon.
Ovviamente hoy son tectónicas.
Die Lily Donkeske?
Die. Dwi ffonio rhwng gyferwyr hefyd.
Da ni wedi penderfynu beth ydi isio.
Really good, actually. Aren't you supposed to stand up, though?
You're all naturals at this.
Urinating.
Now, close your eyes. Okay, but don't punch me. What?
You don't have to call me ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, we're basically the same age.
Okay.
How old are you?
I'm 21. How old are you?
Just shut up, Glenn. Come on, let's get out of here. What?
Well done for tidying me, Chef. Now let Let's just hope it stays that way.
With a rich, creamy chocolate centre. Cadbury Dark Milk Ice Cream for grown-ups. Aerial pods are rated best on stains by Which. They dissolve fast for a brilliant clean, even on cold. And if you turn to wash colder, you could save up to
£60.
Oh wow, all in. Do we have 60?
7.
You're not far off.
One last shot.
You can do it. I'm gonna try. Come on. 20s called Seamus Kipling. In fact, that was just another myth. Mr. Kipling is
To Samuel Alcott of Falls Church, Virginia.
Got a phone number?
Met her husband. Was she rich?
no.
Did she ever date poor men in their 70s?
Ole, visible results or your money back.
How am I gonna get down?
Are you ready for the most exciting Easter ever? Because we're giving you the chance to win an amazing £250,000 in cash.
There's more to love at Matalan.
With his memoir that has brought people here to follow in his footsteps. A railway ran beside the river, the only bit of railway in Germany, although there are many proposals afoot and surveys being made, and even, as they tell me, a station standing ready built in Mont.
Well, doesn't Mary Lou Summons work for Reverend Summons? I suppose.
Advantage points when you buy a pair of hearing aids. Book your free hearing check.
Hey, get behind the wheel.
This is for your trouble. What are you gonna do with the anvil?
Well, it's easy when I leave the keys in the visor.
Thought you were afraid of bees.
Well, thought we lost her for a minute back there.
Sorry. So that's D?
E.
Within seconds, a room is filled with fog, forcing the thieves to beat a hasty.
But that he could take care of it. He said, that then everything would be better.
It's reality. Reset that last component.
There it is. Used around 330 times. So look at this, you've got 4 correct answers now.
Bakers, 1 minute before the gingerbread repossession people.
Be a treat like a faithful Labrador. Sounds like standard poor man's worst nightmare.
The further you go, the more inspiration you find.
I was scared, but you don't want to act scared in front of your buddies. This is stuffed apple pie.
Not great. It tasted terrible. I asked the...
Let's do this.
I'm going to the cinemas with Josh. Who? Wait, who? Shorts, shirts.
For your newly pierced ears.
For the life you're making. Etsy has it.
CycleSync technology releases the right ingredient at the right time, and it also tackles burnt-on stains.
The perfect place to understand Viking England. The world's famous Coppergate dig has painted a detailed picture of the Viking town and the treasures of the Vale of York hoard.
Saving £50 and get the Vax stain removal kit worth £30. At Matalan.
When we're on holiday, Dad loves his food.
Sees the crew getting tetchy at 10. It's a common symptom of jade fever. Then monster diggers and submarine rescues.
Okay, everybody, wait till you see this.
3 friends for life. We're all original recipes.
Beautiful. To hunt it is a life between hope.
I want to chase it out now.
And despair.
Jack.
Welcome back to Court TV Live and our continuing coverage of the case against Lori Vallow Daybell. It is day 1 of trial. Opening statements occurred this morning.
Prince Charles had said that 30 was a good age to get married, and he was about 28. So the picture at the time, I said, well, let's have a look at him, see what he's doing.
After she'd been working for me for 4 or 5 months, I was tidying up at the end of the day.
Being with her was like driving a great car. And then one day, that car throws your suitcase out on the front lawn, so you...
Taking on water, and the captain is said to have abandoned ship. There are 2 merchant ships in the area, one of which has been asked to supply fuel, but there's been no attempt at a rescue. The King's journey to Westminster Abbey for his coronation next month will be a little more comfortable than some royal processions. It's been revealed that King Charles and the Queen Consort will ride in the Diamond Jubilee state coach, which has modern suspension and air conditioning, instead of the traditional but notoriously uncomfortable gold state coach. The route to the Abbey has also been revealed, as our royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell reports.
Less than 4 weeks now to their big day, and preparations for the coronation of King Charles III and the crowning of Camilla as his Queen are in full swing. First, the route that will take them from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey and back again has been confirmed. From the Palace, down the Mall to Trafalgar Square, and then down Whitehall, around Parliament Square to the Abbey's west door. The return route will be the same journey in reverse, a much shorter journey than that taken by the late Queen Elizabeth after her coronation. The King and Queen Consort will travel to the coronation in one of the newest royal carriages, the Diamond Jubilee State Coach, escorted by the Household Cavalry.
It's made of aluminium, which is quite unusual for coaches. Most of them are made of wood. And it's also got hydraulic suspension, meaning that the ride is incredibly comfortable, a very modern innovation.
Inside Westminster Abbey, the service itself will see the crown jewels, the regalia, the symbols of the monarch's authority, being used for the first time since Queen Elizabeth was crowned. The sovereign's orb and sceptres, swords, bracelets and spurs, all will have their part in this elaborate religious service, which culminates with the crowning of the monarch with St. Edward's crown. Camilla will be crowned with Queen Mary's crown, which contains some of the Cullinan diamonds. She will also hold the Queen Consort's rod, which is made of ivory. They will process from the Abbey, just as Queen Elizabeth did, for the return journey to the palace, and for that they will board this, the 18th century gold state coach. It weighs 4 tons and it's notoriously uncomfortable. The King and Queen may be relieved that their journey back to the palace, escorted by military detachments, will be only a quarter of the length of that undertaken by Queen Elizabeth in 1953. One innovation, the palace has launched a new emoji to mark the coronation. So, a ceremony rooted in history, with at least one modern touch. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News.
Now, 2 shots under par to win by 4 shots.
Our compact SUV is ready. Toyota Yaris Cross.
Conflict. So I kinds of alliances now in place that we did at the time of World War I, and there is no one saying that regicide is a crime worth going to war for. So what we do have is a concern about where do you allow China to stop.
But the OPEC ones could surprise us and add, 1.5 million barrels a day.
Dual plate inside. There have been many cases. Most Active Stocks Update was sponsored by Interactive Brokers. Trade worldwide.
It's the Masters champion. On what would have been the birthday of his hero, the late Seve Ballesteros.
Try to enjoy for its original taste instead of adding like artificial taste on top of that. So that is how she's able to maintain it.
Vital interest to make sure that those talks resume ASAP within the framework set by the United Nations.
Really stop to think that actually people are fed up with abusive personal attacks.
And to me, there's an authenticity to that. I mean, a lot of gins are made in Scotland.
It's working just as hard. With new Oral-B 3D Whitening Restore, you can go beyond ordinary whitening. With a formula that starts working instantly and removes up to 100% of step.
Weather will take a different turn. This area cloud out behind me is a developing area of low pressure, brings some windy weather. Before it arrives, we're in a slight window of calmer conditions. There will be a few showers continuing through tonight, still some heavy ones at the moment. Parts of southern.
It all makes.
Blow it out like a candle, like this.
Sorry.
Aviva can help make your conundrums click.
Like Judy Blume, and now her classic 70s tale, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, is fun.
Shall we?
A little context if you care to listen.
Charity and you.
What can I do to get
A Jones's Jukebox, live on.
In my arms, when I open.
That arm was crazy. Which one? Yeah, and you need to get your jump just a little bit higher. Which one? Don't worry.
Excellent. Matt, thank you very much, Matt Taylor. And that is it from us for now. I'll be back with the late news here on BBC One at 10. Right now, of course, it's time to join our colleagues across the nations and regions for the news wherever you are tonight. Good night.
Hello and welcome to BBC London. I'm Lakshmi Gopal. Exactly 4 years on from the closure of Hammersmith Bridge, experts working on it say it could take another 3.5 years to restore it to its former glory. It closed to motor vehicles in 2019 after microfractures were found. Some residents say it's causing traffic chaos, but there are hopes a temporary solution could soon allow vehicles to return. Ross Miklaszewicz reports.
4 years on from the closure of Hammersmith Bridge, traffic in nearby suburbs is worse than ever.
Most mornings, well, just about any weekday morning, I come out.
Days old. I had another set when I was 3 and a final set when I was 5. You realise that there's limitations with regards to maybe your exercise, You know, you have a scar, you have scars all over your body, you know, you might look a little bit different.
You went through that stage, but we want to let people know that when they come to Southampton, we have lots of congenital patients, heart patients. We want them to know that if they're in Southampton, we can provide that service for anybody that goes to the cardiac centre in Southampton.
Not everybody is the same, not everybody has had the same condition.
I just couldn't believe it had happened. As soon as I got the news, I said, if we're going out, can we pray for him?
And so we came out into the courtyard here, and I asked Ian if he would say a prayer over the situation.
Have been postponed as a direct result of the walkouts, and last month's industrial action shows what we could expect from elsewhere in the region. Hospitals in Norwich and Essex saw the highest levels of disruption, but even
important. The surgeon, who's been fantastic, said to me that had I not found it when we did it.
For now, CAP cooks on. But without more cost-effective short-term solutions, staffing for small businesses like hers remains as difficult to predict as the Great British weather.
Well, staying on the tourism theme, holiday businesses rebuilding after the pandemic are urging people over the school holidays to support them. The Easter bank holiday is a critical period, as Stuart Wincup reports from Saltburn.
The sun shining, the beach filling up. The perfect bank holiday weekend. Saltburn's Cliff Lift reopened for the Easter weekend after being closed for 3 months for repairs. Around 1,000 visitors used the lift today. So what's it been like?
Bedlam. Absolutely bedlam, you know what I mean? But it's great, you know what I mean? It's very popular in Saltburn, and obviously it's a cliff lift that draws the people here, I'm pretty sure, you know. Just a nice place to be.
Welcome to Saltburn. Up the road, Saltburn's miniature railway was also reopening this weekend.
Use services very wisely during the time of the strike. Please use
vehicles, but cyclists and pedestrians will still be able to get through. The family of a 16-year-old boy with cerebral palsy are hoping.
Came out, and obviously the news with going abroad and the Dover chaos, we've seen a real big last-minute surge in bookings, people trying to get away for the Easter weekend, which is fantastic.
These families say they don't need to go abroad.
We love it down in Cornwall, yes, and we love Newquay, yes, yes, it's ideal for Easter break, yes.
Businesses will be hoping Cornwall isn't just ideal for an Easter break, but for the rest of the season too. Joanna Carr, BBC Spotlight, Newquay.
Of course, the long Easter weekend and school holidays are an important time for businesses to start making money after the quieter winter months. But are people spending? Kevin Hayes been to Torbay.
It's a funny old game, tourism, but one that's worth billions to the region's economy. So has this Easter break left businesses feeling chipper?
I talked to quite a lot of owners of restaurants and outlets and B&Bs, and they seemed to be very happy with what was going on. Unfortunately, it was very short-lived.
At this snack bar, the cost of living crisis is starting to bite.
Margins are tighter, it's more of a struggle. We have to be
where birds and reptiles like to nest. It's also popular with dog walkers. There are open spaces to let pets.
Dave, certainly you were a valuable point against Blackburn Rovers. Jack Rodoni put them 2-0 up, but Rovers went on to...
They were caught on another one. Humberside Police has the footage and is investigating.
My everyday life in a real setting, and I know
Former Scotland striker Stephen Naismith as their interim manager until the end of the season. Naismith has been coaching the Hearts.
I'll be supporting them, so until then, I can't wait. I'm over the moon. So that's way better.
Each top of the league, you're going to win the league. Absolutely undeniable.
Also watching in the ground were Wrexham's owners, Hollywood stars Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds. They didn't just have a result to celebrate before.
You put 5, 6, 7, 8.
I don't remember any steps.
No, correct answer is Set goes home, well done, Chase put.
St Peter's Square. The weather forecast is next. Here's Barra.
Hello there. The westerly winds and scattered showers stay with us for another while yet. Generally, though, overnight they will become largely confined towards the north coast. It's going to be cool for everyone tonight with plenty of clear skies. Temperatures a degree or two above freezing for many. So a cool start to the day.
Bradford. 03700 100 100. How are you on this bank holiday Monday? What are you doing as you listen to the show? How is it soundtracking your life? Do let me know. The tunes continue. Brand new music, as well as a few anthems, because it is the bank holiday. New Stormzy on the way. New Chloe, the Bliss Madonna now, the Joy, Shades of Love.
Fly parallel to the mainland coastline. We're outside the territorial limit. Controlled.
Tyro. So I need everyone to bring their A game. Got it?
Now on Top Max, Nate is late.
Reading you my book, which believe that you're receiving your spiritual nourishment from family worship.
Was here on the QVC. And one
moisturization now.
auto delivery if you choose to go for.
Now, hopefully you're loving my dress as much as we are. You might even have already spotted. There's two of us in the studio wearing this. It's the Peer View dress. Now,
Weight loss and exercise products. RX.
From several publications.
eyes to give you the confidence to move away from boat.
Card, and we'll actually talk about.
To have that, we're not advertising, but other record.
Good one is a winner, baby. That. And being on an idyllic island.
We've got a line-up that's bound to keep you in the holiday spirit. Our first guest has sold over 16. Feeling how his latest album was written by accident. Yeah, and I'm not surprised. Are you not?
Just sits along the middle section of the Welsh marches, and it's the area I'm exploring this time. It has one of Wales's major rivers flowing through its borderlands. At one point, it was one of the most important rivers for nature conservation in the UK, but it's seen a severe decline in recent years.
You'll hear the crowd, and then two, you hear the thunders of food.
Will be showing us how their shared loves.
Va mi yn y bad hyn fath o mi ydyr fath o gysdi ar drosodd ys godi.
Over the weekend, it was announced that the government will soon be bringing in
With my book.
Julie Maggi.
At the cemetery's Republican memorial, speeches denouncing the Good Friday Agreement as a failure.
The important thing is to join the ARA!
Sinn Féin's support of it, a sellout.
Of the Republic!
Well, it's obvious that the Good Friday Agreement has copper fastened the British Union. If you look, we're now 25 years on from the signing of that Good Friday Agreement, and what we have is an increase in deprivation and an increase in poverty. If you look at working class areas across Derry.
The 1916 Easter Rising duly commemorated, the crowd of several hundred and colour party dispersed, some with petrol bombs readied. All of this a long way in many senses from the Belfast which will welcome the US President in celebration tomorrow night.
Well, from time to time, the violence across the years here in Northern Ireland has thrown up individuals who inspire and somehow symbolise the resilience of the community here. One such man is Michael Gallagher. He lost his son, Aidan, in the Omagh bomb atrocity, which of course happened just 4 months after the Good Friday Agreement was signed. This morning I caught up with him at the memorial in Omagh, and in a wide-ranging interview we began perhaps on one aspect of this agreement which is currently failing, the devolved power-sharing assembly in Stormont.
I think it's hugely sad given the sacrifice that all those people made. Up to that point, almost 4,000 people died and 50,000 people were injured. And we thought when the Good Friday Agreement happened that things would completely change. They have, of course, changed, but we don't have the same integration in the community that you would have in a normal society.
It's not brought communities together as you hoped it would.
It hasn't, and I mean, one of the telling things in it is the fact that our children are educated in different schools, and there's only 8% of the education system that's integrated in Northern Ireland. And I think the quicker we bring those young people together, that they themselves will normalise society.
Adams, McGuinness, Trimble, Hume, the men who brought this agreement together those years ago, would they have tolerated Stormont and power sharing being shut down like it is?
Well, they would never have envisaged that. I mean, their dream, their goal was to create a brand new Northern Ireland so that we could move forward. We could all be no matter what part of the city or town we were in, there was no such thing as a division.
Painstaking process. Beamer, we're off to a rocky start.
Good morning. What can I help you with?
Oh, don't you start. I, a pig must.
Maybe has higher chance of accidents. And the king cobra in this size.
Ik moet. Pas in komt bij de hoezig toe in
electoral challenges. I think it's actually really up to us about how we respond to the period that we've come through. We've got a
Done. Your decision making. What is she hiding?
Light bulb just went off my brain.
I was hoping for blue iris is his favourite colour, but this is...
Howling.
I might, if you...
This part of the Wye has many beautiful spots. And not far from Glaisbury, near the village of Llyswen, is a place where you can see one of the Welsh March's most unusual species. This lovely old bridge, and this is Llyswen Bridge. And the Wye, the thing is about the Wye is that it's an SSSI, Site of Special Scientific Interest, all the way from source to sea. And one of the reasons is because this section here is probably the best place in the whole of the Marches to see a real ancient creature called the sea lamprey. It looks like a sort of long brown eel. They're weird looking things, and they come up from the sea all the way up here to this area to spawn. With special permission, we're able to get close-up views of these curious-looking fish in action. Unlike bony fish like trout, lampreys lack scales on their bodies and have a row of gill holes that are clear to see.